Ryan Holmes, Solid Waste Monthly Update.
Morning, Brian.
It is still morning.
It's still morning.
Solid waste world, it's cold today. It's gonna get colder. But as far as things have gone since the last time I was here, pretty well. Our new employee is pretty much up to speed, and learning the ropes of the department. He's working out pretty well. Steve is actually using up some of his vacation as we speak, so that's good. He has about 3 weeks of vacation to use before the end of March, so it's good. We got our metal pile bailed up. We had Rosen Brothers Construction of Butte come in and do that for us. That went well. They also had, when they were bailing it up, they saw a big pile of tires and rims. They said, you know, we can take care of that for you. We got a set of shears that we can bring in and cut the tires off and take the rims. I said, what would it cost? They worked a deal with us for a $500 fee. They did that for us. We paid the freight to their shears to come into our facility, and they took care of our at least a 5-year accumulation of tires and rims. So that was a good opportunity. Through the process of getting our metal pile bailed up, we put a check for about $17,500 in our revenue account. So
That's very good.
it was a good year for metal. The prices held, and that took care of our refrigerators and all that stuff too. So that, as far as what else is going on in the department, we're still looking for a couple of people on our solid waste board. I don't believe we've had any interest at the HR office for people interested in that. Again, I'll put the advertisement out that we're looking for a few good men or women to sit on that board. Let's see. The other issues that we have going on are we're looking for a pickup for Brent to use. And we'd like to build that into a service truck. So we have a welder, cutting torch, that kind of thing, so he could take care of our canister repairs in the field without having to contract that out with anybody, which we've done in the past. He is a pretty good mechanic, welder. He's got a good skill set, and I think it would be a good move for that. We found a used truck that's located in Livingston. They're asking about, I think somebody made over $3,500 for it. I haven't gone and looked at the truck yet, but the pictures I've seen, it looks like a pretty decent truck and would work for us. I just need to get the nod from you guys to go ahead and pursue that, I think.
Is it in your budget?
Yeah, it would be. We have also, with taking on the recycling effort, we used the road crews forklift to move cardboard bales around the other day, and there was a little skip of snow on the ground, and it took us about 3 times longer than it should have, because a small forklift doesn't go around very good in the snow. We've looked at what it would take to get a skid steer with a fork attachment and a couple other attachments that could help out the department. One would be a broom for snow removal, and a bucket for moving dirt around. We can get one of those leased for about, I think it's about $12,000 a year, which again would be handled through our budget fairly easily. So I don't know if I need to get approval for that or just tell you that we're gonna do it. As far as the other issues on the recycling side, we need to have a space for our cardboard baler. We found out what it cost us to recycle cardboard for the fourth quarter of 2013. We sent 14.17 tons of cardboard to the recycler from September to the end of the year. It cost us $233.20 to recycle that cardboard because it was hauled loose. Hauling it loose, we get 2 cents a pound for it. Had we baled that cardboard, we would have at least got 4 cents a pound for it. That would have been revenue to our department of $1,133.60 for that same amount of cardboard. So we lost $900 in the process. The landfill cost to get rid of that cardboard, had we hauled it direct to the landfill, would have been $552. So it is, even hauling it loose, we're saving money than just putting it in the landfill. But we're losing money if we're not baling it. I have a idea, proposal, where Solid Waste Board's been working on it. We'd like to put a gravel pad or lime rock pad back behind our existing plastic collection building. We've been in touch with Montana Power to find out, or Northwestern Energy, excuse me, to find out what it would take to put 3-phase power to that location. That's probably gonna cost us a little money. We can get a pretty decent sized pad put out there. This whole area should be leveled out just for ease of use. I mean, it's pretty rough to go over with any equipment now. So we could put a pad there. I don't think it needs to be concrete at this point, but we could set our baler and a compactor box for cardboard in that area, or for plastic, excuse me. And clear up this area a lot, all those super sacks, the white plastic bags. We could eliminate them for the most part. We might have 1 or 2 with aluminum cans in it at some point. But it would clean that area up a lot, allow us to bale our cardboard and to take care of our plastic generation. As far as a compactor box for plastic, we're hunting for a used one of those. I have found one that's available, that's operational. It just needs to get plugged in and it's ready to use, and it's compatible with our equipment. They've given me a preliminary cost on that of about $10,000. That's about a third the cost of a new one, and it would work fine for what we have. I've also found another one that's available that is not operational, that does not meet the requirements to be used by our equipment. It's considerably cheaper. It's about $3,000, but it doesn't have a hydraulic in it, and it doesn't have an A-frame under it. So we'd be into that one about the same price as buying this one that's ready to go.
Hey, Brian, not to interrupt your thought, but the one that's not ready to go, and Brent's expertise with welding and machining, is that something he could do?
It's still gonna cost us about $6,000 to put an A-frame under it so it can be moved by our truck.
Okay,
And I don't know what a hydraulic unit would cost to run.
okay.
So it'd be on skids?
Just like our canisters are.
Oh,
They're on
okay.
an A-frame system that we hook onto and lift them up. Kind of a roll-off box setup,
Okay,
so we could haul it to
that makes
the
sense.
recycler.
Did you by chance contact Dusty at DEQ and see if there's any more grants on that kind of stuff?
I did. They don't have any money available right now.
Okay.
She's the one that put me onto this compactor box that is just sitting there. It
Okay,
isn't being used. That doesn't have hydraulics. But they don't have any money available right now.
how long guesstimating would it take you to pay off the 10,000? Do you think, both with saving trips to the landfill, gas and time associated with that, but then also Plastics don't bring in a lot of money. Any guesses?
To pay it off, we've got the money in our budget now to purchase it.
Okay,
So it would just be whatever is paid back over time. I don't know, you know, we would make a little bit off of plastic, but like I said, not much. That's why we wanna go with the compactor box, because I haven't seen what we get from the recycler for plastics yet. That's still been going to BCDC.
mhm.
The cardboard is coming to us, but the,
Isn't that going to Hans?
John has turned it over to us, the cardboard side.
Okay, but not the plastics?
The plastics are still under the BCDC agreement, so,
Okay,
once we get a compactor, then we'll probably do it. I would say as of the first of the year, we would probably take the plastics too, because that's when we started doing it all. John's kind of stepped back out of the picture, but, we need to work that out with BCDC.
first of the fiscal year,
Yeah, well, first of January.
Oh,
mid-fiscal
okay.
year.
all right.
The only thing I know is I've had to pay $233 to recycle cardboard.
And you're not happy about that, I can tell.
As far as how we did last year, last calendar year, we had about a 1.5% increase in the amount of trash we handled from the year before. We were at just a little over 4,200 tons. So, and when I did the budget, I planned it at 4,200 tons of trash. So we missed it by a little bit, but not too bad. Our 5-year average is still at that 4,200 ton mark. So I'm comfortable with leaving our budgeting process at 4,200 tons, because you get ups and downs in there. So, it's not too bad of a deal. I did come prepared to talk budget today if you want, or if you want to get back on schedule, I can wait and do it later.
I did not bring my budget paperwork, did either of you?
Mine's in the car.
Okay, do you want to table that discussion for another day? We can certainly hear any comments you have, Brian.
That's what I brought you.
Yeah.
Okay. I will tell you what I have memorized, and I think it's good for you guys all to know this as well. You've collected your estimated revenue for the year, not including the 17.5 thousand, short just 12% as of 6 months into the year. So, as far as wisely managing your department, kudos, you've done a tremendous job. Don't remember off the top of my head where your expenses are, but you're actually far beyond where we would expect to see. It's not at 50%, your expenses are far less than that. So even though there was more trash, your budget is looking really good, so there shouldn't be any worries of increased fees.
With 6 months into the fiscal year, we have 67.58% of our budget remaining. So we're ahead of the game, 17.58%.
That's worth talking about.
Our target for our budget, like I said, at 4,200 tons, and the amount that we have budgeted to us, our target is $126.9 per ton. That's what we look at as far as planned. Year-to-date operating costs, we're at 76.5. So
Wow.
that's, and the other thing that was kind of surprised at, a good surprise, is our cash account in our revenue side. Even with paying off our pill loan last year and the loan amount that we needed to pay anyway, we put, I think it was $95,000 back into the pill fund last year to pay off our loan. Our cash account at the end of December was just about the same as it was in 2011. So we've,
For all of 2011?
yeah, the excess amount, or for December of 2011.
Oh, okay.
So the excess amount that we had was what we used to pay the loan, which is exactly what we wanted to use. So we're in good shape as far as cash reserves. And I think the way things are looking for the year, we should be able to purchase the equipment we want to purchase, take on the recycling side and an additional person, and still finish the year with money ahead. So
what you're talking about here, Brian, is a lot of investments in capital that will allow you to continue to save money. Right now, you're looking at some expenditures.
It will allow us
Down the road,
to
you're looking at savings.
continue to operate the department in an efficient manner. Buying that equipment will make us be more efficient, which in turn saves money.
Yeah.
So, the less we have to handle trash, the more money it saves. So,
Sure.
if you got any questions, I'll answer them. If you don't have any, I will proceed with our plan.
So what's your thoughts? Let him go ahead and, he's got the money in the budget.
I think that's, any other department head would, is told, you know, again, you're the expert in your field, you're doing an excellent job managing your money, managing your personnel, and managing your operation. I don't see anything here that needs to be micromanaged by us. I don't see any, I have no problem with your moving ahead with your operations as you see fit, and have described to us today. Any opposition from the board, any
I
agreement
guess as
from the
long as
board?
everything's in the budget,
And it sounds to me like he's staying well within the budget.
So, I don't think this needs a vote, but I think it would be nice for Brian to have that, in his back pocket. So I would entertain a motion, to support Brian in his proposed operational plans.
Also move.
You hear a second?
yeah, I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to, support Brian in his operational plans for solid waste. All those in favor,
Now, what
signify.
do you got written there? What's the motion you had now?
That we are supporting what Brian has proposed to us today regarding the operations of solid waste. The management of solid waste.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. So, you've got our support.
Right, thank you.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Anything else from the board?
Unless I get a phone message that changes that at all, everything's good.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Oh, before you go, we have land use licenses, and these, I believe, are for the canister sites that sit on state land. We have that on the agenda if you want us to sign today. If you want to look it over, we can certainly address it next week, or week from, day after President's Day.
We don't have much choice.
No, we don't.
The canister sites are there, and we're not gonna move them, so
All right, we looked at those last week.
I'd be behind them. And it's a screaming deal.
Yeah,
It
it
really
is, it is. And we know that citizens don't like that on their own property.
Right.
We know that loud and clear.
And those would be the sites at Winston and Radersburg.
What is the story on Dry Gulch? What's that one?
That's county ground.
Hmm.
It's actually a gravel pit.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. In fact, they're going to, they put a gate in our fence to get back to the one corner of it so they can get some pit run material.
Makes sense.
I would entertain a motion to go ahead and sign these.
Also move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the leases with the state for the land that the canister sites sit on in Winston and Radersburg. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, we'll go ahead and get these signed, Brian, and in the mail, we'll get you a copy.
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
thank you.
Have a good rest of the day.
You
Thanks,
too.
you too. All right, it is 5 to noon. Do we have Bernadette in here? See her? Looks like no COSs. We have 5 minutes for Commissioner's Community Update. Franklin, what'd you do this week?
I'll attend the solid waste meeting and the weed board meetings.
Anything to update the board on what's going on or any issues we need to be aware of?
Not really. You heard kind of what he said on the solid waste there. That's pretty much about it.
Anything from weed?
Nothing really different. Just a regular meeting. Basically just a regular meeting.
All right, Elaine?
I didn't have any this week.
Okay. I had an event for energy. There was an energy summit in Helena this week. That was Monday evening that I went. And one of the big things is, and this does not include Toston, but the dams around Montana have been owned by PPL, and they are now going into ownership by Northwestern Energy. So that's a big move for them around the state. Other than that, there was a public hearing Thursday night regarding the Perry Building to change the classification that wasn't done years ago when PFM Manufacturing was there to in commercial industrial. Unanimous vote in support of that. And that is it. So we are 3 minutes to noon. We'll go ahead and recess for lunch. Please notice the agenda states that we will be starting again at 2 o'clock. And today is Chamber of Commerce from 12:30 to 1:30. So that's why there's a little bit of delay starting our afternoon. So anything before we recess? All right, we are recessed. We'll see you at 2.